Hey everyone, Sean Harrington here. So what we're going to do is we are going to go through how you actually make an Aquarius Plus Mini edition. It has a few less parts on it. It's a little smaller, a little cheaper, but the principles are still the same. So you should on the screen now see the QR code that will take you to the Aquarius Plus GitHub page. I'm going to go back there. And the folder we want to go to is the Maker folder. Inside the Maker folder, we have the regular Aquarius Plus and then the Mini. But before we do that, let's go through the process really quickly about what's involved. First, you go to JLCPCB, you'll create an account, you'll use their online tool to order the parts you need. Once those are in, then you will go through the process of ordering the PCBs. And then once you get those PCBs here at your location, we'll talk about how you go through the assembly process. So we're going to go to JLCPCB and we're going to go through the process of ordering the parts. JLCPCB is JLCPCB.com. One of the things that they do have is parts. So under this menu, which is my username, I'm going to go to my parts manager. One of the items that is used here is called the BOM tool or Bill of Materials tool. And what's really nice about it is that you can order parts based on the bill of materials. Now, we've already developed the bill of materials file for both the Mini and the full-size edition. So if we go back over to the Aquarius Plus site, I'm going to go into the Mini folder, revision 0. This is the first revision. We're going to go into the PCB folder, and within here we have a bill of materials. I have this on my system, so I'm going to open it up. And we want the Aquarius Plus Mini Rev 0 bill of materials. And this is what it looks like. It is a list of the designator on the PCB, what footprint it's using, and most importantly, the JLCPCB part. Don't change these layouts, and we're going to use the Bill of Materials tool. And we're going to get our Bill of Materials. We click here. This is the BOM file, BOM. We're going to open it. And it says how many assembled PCBs. So minimum quantity is 2, so you can get it for just 2. And it's going to process our Bill of Materials. I haven't purchased any of these parts yet. We're going to do quantity 2. I believe minimum order of the PCBs is 5, so we'll have like 3 blank PCBs that we'll get with this. So this shows us all the quantity of items that are needed. And this automatically calculates up quantity 2. Sometimes they will have a minimum order quantity. There's not much you can do about it. They're not super expensive. Again, these are only 28 cents. If you were to get into some of the other areas, it can be fairly expensive. Well, this is the RAM chip. Fortunately, you only have to order 2 of them, but they are 10 bucks a piece. 14 bucks. Okay, that's the main FPGA, so that makes sense that that's expensive there. There are items that we have to pre-order. This is the Z80. It looks like we've got all of them here. So let's just add all to my parts library. Oh, we have to click them here and then do add all to my parts library. And notice this is the cost of parts, 115. So let's do this to checkout. Okay, so what I've done here is I've added my address. I'm going to submit the order. So far, the total is $114.95. Now, there is going to be some back and forth. You'll notice at the top that it said we're going to email you within 48 hours the quotes. What that's doing is that's saying, hey, there's a lot of stuff that we already have in stock that we can order for you. I'm going to go through PayPal and okay. So we were successful in the payment. And these are all of our parts. You can see that everything's been paid. We did do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pre-order items. We've paid, but what's going to happen is over the next several days, they're going to get back with their vendors. Now, let's talk about time frames for JLCPCB. Right now, it is about 1 p.m. my time. They won't be in the office for another 4 hours because it's 4 in the morning there now. In another 3 or 4 hours, it'll be 7 a.m. And then I will start to get quotes back on these. What they do is they send it out to each of their supplier vendors. So there are 6 different items that have to be priced out. They will send me a quote. Okay, what you'll notice now is I'm actually in my email for the account that I use. And here are all of the email notifications from JLCPCB. Got a new customer coupon. That's fantastic. I can use that to help offset the costs of the production. Let's go back out to a sample one of these parts. So this part is the 220 microfarad capacitor. All of these parts that we see listed here are ones that they had in stock. The assembly part of it is a second process. So you're billed for 2 things. You're billed for the actual PCBs, and then you're billed for the surface mount assembly process. I'm expecting that the assembly for these components should be no more than about $40. Okay, so it is now officially a couple of days later. I am back at JLCPCB, and what I've done is I've gone to the parts manager and I've gone into parts order history. We saw this before. These are all the parts that we've already paid for. Notice now that the price is different. It was 115, now it's only down to 50 bucks. Let me show you why that happened. So for some of the components, it was a little bit less, so I got an 88-cent refund. This was also a little bit less. I got it looks like a $6.20 refund, and on the VGA ports, I got a $4.83. But also notice that on some of these, they're canceled. The Z80, they actually couldn't get it from the vendor that I was hoping, so they refunded this cash. It was about 32 bucks. It's already been factored into that 50 bucks. Here is the keyboard connector, Molex 676, blah, blah, blah. Again, I had to buy 18 of those. That price was refunded. And then also the RAM chips. So let me show you what I did as a result. So of the 6 items that were pre-order items, 1, 2, 3 of them, half of them had to be canceled. So I did get a refund on those. So let's take a look at our list. Here is that 5065. So let's save that. To compensate for those parts, I actually had to purchase some more. So I placed a second order for the connector that was missing, the switch that was missing. Remember that I got a lot of them. The reason I went ahead and purchased these is they're only $1.30. I needed to get them here sooner than the lead time that they were showing down in this other section, which was almost a week or so out from that. Right now, it's only February 22nd, so it's going to be a while before these parts get here. And then this is the RAM that I couldn't get. These went through, but when I tried to purchase these through this company called Future, they couldn't get them. We just canceled the order and the order was refunded. So let's scroll up. So I placed another order, this time through Mouser. It's more than 7 bucks, but I'm not spending 49 bucks on them. I'm now only spending 22 bucks on them. So here's the 2144 and then the Z80, which is 2257. These parts are coming in. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. This Molex may actually come in as unavailable too, but we'll see how that goes. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a duplicate of the switch. So there's actually 6 items coming in. Yes, I'll have 5 switches left over. So far, these are my costs. I haven't totaled them up yet. It looks like it's around 100 bucks. It's about $15 less than what we had before because I had to buy fewer quantities of those. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and some change. It's somewhere between 100 and 90 bucks. We have parts on the way. We are actually going to start the process of ordering the PCB, even though we don't have these parts quite in yet. So we are going to go to JLCPCB and we are going to order now. From the maker folder in the mini subfolder, you're going to add a Gerber file. The Gerber file is this zip file. I've already kind of gone from this point. We're going to take this zip file, open it up. It'll take a second. It'll pause at around 96. It'll do its processing and then it'll come online. Remember we said that the minimum order quantity is 5. That is true for just the PCBs, so 5 is correct. We are going to make them blue. Notice that the cost will go up. It's now 8 bucks rather than 2 bucks. Silk screen's fine. Copper weight and all of this, we're going to remove the order number. Price will go up now. It's about $1 more. We're not going to make any remarks on the PCB, but we are on the PCB assembly. So right now, if we're just ordering the PCBs, it's going to cost us about 9, 10 bucks, not including shipping. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to PCB assembly and we're going to click this radio button on the switch. The good news about the Aquarius Plus is that it only has parts to assemble on the top side. There are some components that we have that require standard pricing. If you don't do this, they're going to add it anyway. Notice that it significantly increased the price. PCB quantity. So by default, it's going to ask for 5. We're actually going to only do 2. Doesn't change it. It's down a little bit from what it was, but it's still up about what I thought, about 40 bucks. Edge rails, we're going to let JLCPCB add them. The rails are going to be at the bottom and at the top. What those rails do is they provide a little lip where this SD card and the VGA port and the micro port can exist. And then there are also what they call fiducials. Now, we already technically have fiducials here. That allows the pick and place machine to figure out where the components are, but they will take care of that. We're going to let them add the edge rails and fiducials. Also, our board is slightly smaller, so it needs a little more to hang on to. And we are going to have them do parts placement. Either way, they're going to do confirmation, and we want this. We don't need a photo confirmation. We don't have a conformal coating. Packaging they send is fine. Board cleaning. So right now it's 43 bucks. This is worth every penny of it. How much does it cost? It's going from 43. Looks like they haven't added that in. They will later on when they do that. We don't need to bake the components. We don't need to deep panel them. We're not going to have them add that. The only thing we're doing is adding board cleaning. Now, we are going to add a remark. There's two ways to do it. We can either paste it in or we can attach this text file. Within the Aquarius Plus Mini, let's go to Aquarius Plus Maker Mini PCB, there is a text file, manufacturing assembly notes. There's two ways we can do this. We can either just attach this guy, or what I like to do is I like to paste it in so it is part of the remarks. Let's open this guy up. And here it is. Notice we have 4 items we want them to check. We want them to verify that the micro USB power connector, which has 4 lugs, are all soldered in. We want to make sure that pin 11 on jumper 9, which is the SD card thing, that is the read-write protect leg, is properly connected. Otherwise, it won't let you write to the PCB and you'll have to bridge that yourself with solder. We want to verify that the LED anode, which is the negative side, is to the left hole. On the PCB, we do show a negative sign, so that should be self-explanatory, but they often will ask that anyway. And the last thing, and this is important because the batch of PCBs that I just ordered, this was not the case. On the LED, we want to make sure they fold it forward at a right angle. The ones that I got, they're sticking straight up. I actually have to desolder all 25 of them that came that way. Resolder replacement ones, they're not expensive. They're a penny a piece, but it is, about 5 minutes per LED of my time. Not a big deal. So we're going to take all this. We're going to copy this, all copy. We're going to go into this text field, paste it. They will charge for this. Not a ton, maybe $4 or $5, but we want to make sure that they do this. That will save us time later on. So the two things is we're going to do board cleaning. We are going to have them check these. Click agree. So let's do a confirm. It's going to think about it. It's going to show us our board, and let me show you those areas we talked about. We want to make sure these 4 lugs are connected. We want to make sure that the negative on the LED down here is on this side and that it's folded forward. And then we want to make sure that this pin here is soldered in place. Everything else is pretty good. It's a pretty standard board. Looks good. I don't see any glitches in the Gerber files. So let's see the next one. Now we're going to add our bill of materials. Bill of materials file is here. We took a look at it a little earlier. We're going to add the CPL file, which is the component placement layer/layout file. That's what it looks like. Again, don't edit either of those because they work just fine. And we're going to process the bill of materials. You shouldn't get any errors. If you do, message me or email me. I'll help you through that. I think we've solved all the issues with that. Now, you look, and again, a lot of the parts that we purchased are already here. They're already ready to go. But these 4 troublesome components, the switch, the buffers, these are the level shifters. Those are not available. RZ80 is not available. All of these are on order. And then the RAM. So all of these items need to be ordered. Now let's take a look at this one. This one, it looks like there is a power shifter that I do not have. Let me write this down. SN74AHCT 1G125. Well, that should get us most of the way there. Notice that all of the other parts are ready. We really can't proceed until we get these filled. But let me show you what it looks like. There are options. So for instance, let's say we had everything except the switch and the RAM, which I have had orders in the past that were doing that. I wouldn't build this board without the Z80 because the pins are so small. Some people are very good at surface mounted soldering. I wouldn't do it. And then also these buffer drivers, they're just not, it's not worth doing it. So let's see what this looks like. It's going to say, hey, You have unselected parts. We're going to say do not place. We're going to come back to this. We aren't to the point of actually ordering. And we're going to take a look at this layout. Now, the CPL file has already placed these components for us. Let's take a look at that. Let's zoom in a little bit. Here they are. Here's our VGA. Here's our power port. Notice it looks like the ESP32 is not populated, but it is. The problem is that there's no footprint that this layout tool can do. Trust me, it's there. You know that it's there because there's this little checkerboard. It is fine. Let's see what else is missing. Remember, there were 4 components: the switch, the Z80 CPU, and the RAM. So let's zoom in. Oh, and then this U1, this power conditioner. It's not here. That's not super difficult to solder, really. But you do have this capacitor in the way, so it's often difficult to get these. I suppose you could solder that if you wanted to. The Z80 CPU, I wouldn't mess with it. I would wait until the Z80 is in, let them deal with it. They'll clean it up. The RAM pins, notice they're a little bit further apart. These are not difficult to solder. I have populated the boards without these and then soldered them separately. It's not difficult to do because these pins are really not that much further apart than these pins. They're about half, but you can get these with a good soldering iron. It's not a big deal. And none of the pins really float underneath the chip, kind of like they do with the Z80. And then the switch is easy. It is 1, 2, 3, 4 mounting lugs, and then a set of 6 pins. So we could purchase this if you want to populate these by yourselves. The one that I'm concerned about is this one. So for now, we're going to leave this section and we're going to go back to our parts manager. Let's go into our parts and let's see if we have that SN74A. SN74, that's not it. This is a different voltage regulator. Let's actually look on this page. SN74A HCT. And it does want them to be capitals. I don't know why it treats capitals different, but let's see if we can find these anywhere. Well, let's take a look on each of these pages. We don't have this part anywhere. If you look back, and I did look back at the earlier video, we actually don't have this, which is problematic. So let's go to parts order history, and let's also see if it's here. SN74A HCT. Let's see if it's in here. No, we haven't ordered it. So what we got to do is we got to order some more parts. Order parts. We're not going to get this through JLCPCB. I mean, we can try. Let's see what we've got here. The part we're looking for, let's open up our bill of materials. It is this BOM here. And the part we want is 74LS HCGT. Now, this DBVR, we're just going to take the first part of it. Sorry, I'm going to take the first, just copy it. Let's go over to this. We are going to search, oh, sorry, wrong page. We're going to search for this component. Let's see what we come up with. We do have a couple of them. It's extended parts through Texas Instruments. What I need to do is I only need, these are equivalent. These are both the same. So we're going to take this guy, and we only need 2 of them. So let's add to my part library for assembly. Let's add to part library for assembly. So now it's in my part cart. Let's see where it is here. There it is. So we need 2 of them. They're only 9 cents each. It's not a big deal. Now, what we may see is that we can't check out unless we order more than that. So let's check out. Sorry, my YouTube thing. Let's do secure checkout. To quantity. Yeah, they're 9 cents. They're less than 20 cents. Now, this is where we may hit a snag because they don't want to do an order for less than that. No, purchase item must be no less than $2. Well, okay, so how do we get this up to $2? It looks like we need to order 19 cents, at least 4 times that amount. Yes, we're going to have some more spare parts. So let's do 20. Let's do 24. 22 is kind of a magic thing. There we go, $2.01. So we will have we'll have 20 spares. It's worth it to get these in place. So our subtotal is 201. Let's do a secure checkout. Oh, we got to select it. Let's do secure checkout. Okay, so our payment is successful here. We've just finished that up. And let's see our parts order history. And here it is. Here's our newest one. We now have another order of $2.51. Let's add that to the list here. JLCPCB parts order. It's going to be 251, I think it was. 2.51. This is for the power conditioner. Actually, I think it's a specific level shifter for 3 to 5 volts. Yeah, 251. But that's fine. So we now should have all of the parts that are here. It says that the status is complete. Great. Let's see if this is actually ordered. So let's go to my file here. We should have only 3 items left that we're waiting to come in on. Let's double check that. Now notice here that we are missing this one. I did place an order for it, but for some reason it's showing up as a shortfall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and click on this. We know we've ordered that. We can double check to Parts Manager, Parts Order History. And if we take a look, we ordered like several of them. We've got tons of them here. It's been complete. It's been added in. It's this unit number that we're looking for, the SN74AHCT. So if we go to our file, here it is. Again, it'll go back to just after we uploaded the bill of materials and the couple file. And here it is. So this is the right one, SN74AHCT1. So what we have to do here is we click on this. Sometimes the part number will misalign with what's needed. So we're going to click on this and notice that, yes, we do have an inventory shortage if we order through JLCPCB, but I've already ordered these parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to select this item, and we'll see that this item is no longer missing. We are only missing the switch, the Z80, and the RAM. These are not in stock. Remember, we're waiting on these 3 pieces to come in. We have one standard order that we're waiting on that we did through regular JLCPCB stock. Let's see if we have here. Either way, they're both in short supply. There's no data for this particular switch. We need to search, however, on EG99. EG copy and put this here. So they're $450 each. They don't have any in stock. So yes, we still have to wait for the units we ordered in line. So let's go ahead and close that up. So we're waiting for 6 items to come in. They are on our list, and we'll see what happens in a day or two. Okay, everybody, it is now 3 weeks after the original video. It is March 11th, as you can see. We originally did the first video on February the 20th. That was, again, about 3 weeks ago. Finally, all of our parts are in. Let's go through this list. After I've logged in, I've gone to Parts Manager and Parts Order History. Let's take a look at all the items that we've ordered that have come in. Our power shifters, that is in. Our Z80s are finally in. Here's a previous order for the Z80s that didn't go through because they had to cancel it. And it's a good thing because they wanted to charge us for 7. We only need 2. So that order was canceled. Our switches are in. Our USB keyboard ports are in. And most recently, this actually happened just within the past couple of days, just the past 24 hours. These RAM chips have finally come in. So all of our parts are here. We don't have to do any post-operational cleanup, which is awesome. Notice that this was about the right time. It said that these parts were going to be in stock by about the 13th. They were only off by a couple days. They beat that deadline. All of these other individual parts are in, and we see that even the pre-order items that we did, the VGA ports, yeah, we're going to have some extra VGA ports not a whole lot I could do about it because we needed to get them in. This Z80 order was canceled and reordered. These Molex connectors, again, this is our keyboard connector. Those were canceled, pardon me, and refunded. And then the switch is in. We actually have another set of switches as well too. And then here is our RAM that also got canceled. So all of our parts are here. In fact, if we take a look at our messages, the last one that we just got yesterday, which was a Sunday. Congratulations, our parts, and this is the RAM, have finally arrived. So now let's go to our files. So within my files, I specified the PCBs. Let's take a look at that. Again, we've already specified what the PCB is, that it's going to be in blue. We've uploaded the bill of materials. We uploaded the component placement layer file. And in fact, all of our components are here. We can build this without having to do anything. Let's go on to the next phase. We've been waiting a long time for these checkboxes to come through. And again, the RAM just came through, so let's do that next. This is going to show us where all of the components are on the page. Last time when we checked this, there were some pieces that don't show up. One of those, as an example, you'll see here in a second, is the Wi-Fi card. It doesn't show a model of this Wi-Fi, this ESP32, but yet it does. It's got this little checkerboard here, so it is in the right place. We've ordered this many times previously. It is there. We also take a look at some of the other components. Let's see which one moves this stuff around. The Z80 doesn't have a footprint, but we know that it is in the right place because, again, it's got this checkerboard. I think we've also got the switch does that. Again, it's placed based on this pin. Let's see if there's anything else around that doesn't have any components. I think that's it. I think it's just the ESP32, the switch, and then the Z80. Even the RAM is here and it's in place. Notice they've already been indexed to where they're supposed to be. I've worked hard to make sure that this pick and place file is exactly correct. All of the components are in place. So let's go next. This says all of the engineering fees, any of the things associated with it. They charge us $1.50 for that. The board fees are there. Do they have the cleaning fee? Yeah, we do have the board cleaning fee. That is worth every penny that you pay. Assembly, 4 to 5 days, that's fine. We don't need to pay a rush charge of additional $50 because we're trying to keep the costs down. Now, this is important. They want to know what this product is. This has a lot to do with the import fees that you might have to pay if you order on this. Fortunately, when you're dealing with a quantity too, the import fees are already baked into all of this. So we're going to say what this is. I choose, here are research, education, DIY, entertainment. I choose from this one, video, TV, game, player, console. This HS code, this is very important, 950450. This is what I put on all of my shipments. Whenever I ship an Aquarius Plus outside of the United States, I have to include this code. Either 950450 is fine. Sometimes it's listed as 95.0450. They know what to do. This stands for harmonization code. It's trying to align all of the different types of products around the world so that they're in a standard code base. Anyway, this is the one we use. Research, education, DIY, entertainment, video, TV, game player, which is exactly what the Aquarius is. We're going to save it to the cart. Looks like our charge right now is $88. That's in addition to what we have already spent on parts. Pre-order takes a little bit. There's a minor chance that this will bomb out, but it looks like we're doing good. Yep, it's in our cart. So here we have the order for the PCBs. That's only $10. And then the assembly fees is $78. That includes board cleaning, pick and place, all of that setup stuff. Well worth it. We're going to do a secure checkout. I already have PayPal set up to do the payment. So we're going to do a secure checkout. I will probably blur this next section. Okay, so what we have now is we are now to the shipping method. There's a number of different options. As you click through these, you'll see different costs associated with it. Right now, DHL Express Worldwide is $42. That's not terrible, but there are going to be other shipping costs. So I want to try and get this down as quickly as possible. It's already going to take about 2 weeks for them to manufacture this anyway. So a couple of extra days isn't going to bother me. Again, you'll be seeing this on the video, but just understand that the longer you wait, the less expensive this is. So let's go through some of these options. This is Express Worldwide. I don't necessarily need that. Let's go to Economy. It's a little bit better. It's about $3 less, $39.80. Let's see what FedEx has. FedEx is still a little bit less. Global Direct Line I would not recommend. UPS Express Saver, that's more. Worldwide, so it looks like our best option out of all of these is the FedEx for $38. Again, it is what it is. This particular package, since there's 3 blank PCBs and 2 populated PCBs, it's actually more expensive to go through the process of packaging it up. So we're paying a little bit of a premium for the box itself. If you were to order 20 of these, 10 of these, your price per board would compress quite a bit. In fact, if I were to order 5 populated boards, while my merchandise cost would be a little bit more, my shipping still wouldn't be a whole lot more than about $40. So you can get more shipped for a better cost. So we're going to do that. So here's our merchandise total. We got our shipping down to where we needed it to. We prepaid JLCPCB for these parts. We pre-ordered them, but this does not include the global shipping parts. We'll actually come back to this when we go into our little spreadsheet to take a look at that. But for now, we're just going to accept it as is. This is going to cost us $126, which is about $61 a board-ish. 116, 61, 63, $64 a board. Not the best. I would prefer that they were a little bit lower, but it's still cost effectively much less than it would be if you were doing a full-size model. So we're going to submit our order. Notice they've added sales tax here. Now, here's one of the good things. Here's one of the benefits of being a new customer. We can use a new customer coupon. We'll do that. Do we get a special order as well too? No, it looks like we can only choose one at a time. Again, we're going to do PayPal. It'll ask me to log in here. Okay, so our order is done. We're going back to JLCPCB. We've uploaded our bill of materials. We got all the parts. We uploaded our Gerbers, chose what we wanted. We did the pick and place. We've done all of that stuff to order not only the 5 PCBs, but also the 2 assembled PCBs. So these will be fully assembled, and they are going to ask questions. They're going to ask questions about whether it's okay to add rails on the top and the bottom. And there will be an upcharge for that. We'll cover all of that. There will be times when they get to the PCB saying, is the pick and place right? Well, I know that it's right. I've done it before. The people who I've worked with at JLCPCB, they're just really great at communicating. It's only a couple of hours later, about 2 hours since I recorded previously, and we got a first couple of emails. The first message I got was Tammy Huang. She says, we got your order, sorry to bother you, but can you verify that the LED D3 anode is in the left hole? They were correct. I mislabeled that. The cathode, which is the negative leg, should be in the left hole. So I responded to them. I said, yes, sorry, you are correct. The cathode goes in the left hole, negative ground. I'll correct my notes. So I've already corrected that in my notes, and I said, thank you for catching this. Let's take a look at the next message we got. The next message we got is, thank you for submitting your order. The advanced options that we talked about have been reviewed and quoted. There was the board cleaning and the other, which is probably the PCB marking. They have to charge an additional $2.10. Again, in the scope of things, it's not that big of a deal. So what they said is please go in and click supplement. So let's go over to our PCB. We go to order history. And again, we're already here, but I'm showing how you get there. And notice now that we have a supplemental button here. We have to click on that. And this will be the first of many things that we will have to click on in our order history view to kind of keep things going. So we do supplement. We'll do pay, and then it'll go through the PayPal order form and stuff like that. And I'm not going to go into details on that here. Just a couple of days later still, and you can see that the PCB itself has been completed. So let's take a look here on the progress. Progress shows that all of the components were done generally within the past day or two. So it doesn't really take that long to do the processing of the PCB. So the PCB is done, even though it shows at 93%. Delivery won't happen until it goes to the PCBA process. We previously saw that we approved the details of the placement. So the next thing we'll do is we'll start to see this production progress continue on through all of these steps. It is now Sunday, March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Sorry for the sound in the background. I've got a 3D print going. But if we look here, we've got our production progress on the PCBs is at 93%. We're just waiting on delivery. And then on the surface mount soldering, the production of it, it is also completed. So the good news is we are now awaiting carrier pickup. That means that our 2 completed PCBs and our 3 uncompleted PCBs are waiting for FedEx to come pick them up. We'll wrap up everything here as soon as we get the packages, which looks like it's probably going to be in maybe 3 or 4 days. Okay, package is here. It's arrived from FedEx. Let's open it up really quickly. Where is our X-Acto knife? Let's grab that. It's over here to the side. Okay, so here we are. It is March 20th, and here is our box from JLCPCB. I've already taken the outer wrap off of it. Let's open it up. Here is our PCBs, wrapped very similarly to the other ones that I've gotten in the past. Okay, now we're to the bubble wrap. I took all the cling wrap off the outside because it was just too much to deal with. So let's see, here are our PCBs, the blank ones. We'll take a look at those in a second. Remember, there are 3. And then we have our assembled PCBs. They generally separate them. Here we go. Here's the first one. It looks pretty good. I don't see any issues with that. And then here is the second one. And notice it does have the rails on the bottom and on the top. So here are our PCBs. Again, we have 3 of them that are bare PCBs. Again, the quality is very good. Notice that I've taken the rails off the edges. This is one with the rails. This is one without. You can see they're here at the top and the bottom. I just used a pair of pliers to pop them off. Be careful because the edges then do have a bit of an edge to them. You can take an emery board or something or some sandpaper and smooth those off. But let's take a look at the ones that are most important to us. Here's the actual PCBs. I'm going to try and keep this in frame as much as possible. Everything looks good. The switches almost always come in the on position. I'm going to do a real quick investigation of this board. This is one of the points we take a look at. They did really well with the LED folding it forward. I don't see any weirdness on the RAM or on the Z80. And we'll just go through the standard process. We put jumper pins on these 3, jumper 1, 2, and 3. We connect this via micro to a computer that has the ESP tool on it. That's all available on the GitHub website to download, and you'll upload the first image of it. So again, this looks like a really good quality board. It's a little more expensive than I would like. I believe our final costs wind up being, gosh, about 118 or so per board. Let's take a look at those numbers here on our spreadsheet, which I've updated. Okay, so to wrap up, here is our budget. I've updated all of the numbers. If we take a look, this number down here, this is a little different from what is shown on the order file, but again, it's about 138 bucks. We can also go back and check the under Parts Manager, parts order history. We can see we had one for $251 for the power conditioner, $225 for the Z80s, $21.44 for the RAM keyboard and software. That is right here. And then all of the other main components, all of the capacitors and all those small things, again, about 50 bucks for that. So if we're totaling, the price is 236 bucks for 2 completed boards and for 3 blank boards. Now, the blank boards are worth something. They can be populated, and who knows, maybe I'll make a video going through the torture of hand placing all of those pieces myself just so you can see how it's done. half of 236 bucks is about 118. I mean, personally, I'm selling the blank Aquarius Plus PCBs fully tested and ready to go, pre-imaged, for 99 bucks on eBay. I order in greater quantities. I typically order 50 a piece. So my price per unit goes way down. I could shave at least another 20, 30% just by shipping them all together in one batch. Again, there are economies of scale, but this is a realistic representation of what it would take to do Aquarius Plus Mini PCB quantity 2. So is it cost effective? I think it's good one time to do it. And there are certainly underserved areas of the world. I think that if we had a European maker who was willing to go through this process, I think that it would be certainly beneficial because, again, there's a lot of import fees into the EU. I'd love to see somebody in Denmark or France or Italy or something like that take up the manufacturing of this so that people in the EU could get these hopefully without as much of an import fee on that. They're pretty easy to make. Obviously, we did the Mini. The PCB values at this quantity for the full unit, the one with the expansion port and the controller ports and all of those others, these would probably be 150 a piece, at this quantity, because the edge connector for the cartridge is very difficult to find. In fact, the manufacturer for the one that we use, when it's assembled in China, they have set an end of life to that product. We have some other options, but it'll probably be a post-manufacturing option where you actually have to trim the pieces up a little bit. Hopefully this has been informational, something that you can use, and you'll maybe want to go in with a friend and try this to say that you made your own Aquarius Plus or you had your own manufactured. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and I'll talk at you next time.